Recording.
Oh!
Alright, so you guys had just finished your battle against that monstrous creature that had attacked the ship that you were sailing on. Despite your best efforts, you lost one of your companions, the dear Neri. And now, as each of you have made your way back onto the deck, Eric, it's a little difficult with you kind of carrying up Alexis's unconscious body, but eventually you manage to do so, finding yourself on the deck with all the others. You're all weary, tired, many of you aching and all over in pain, and just a heavy heart at knowing that despite everything, someone was lost today.
I will immediately cast a first level healing word on Alexis and say, stand. So she regains 8 hit points.
She immediately is just and just looks around. Eric, you who's still carrying her, she kind of looks towards you and then looks out towards the others and carefully moves herself out of your arms.
All right.
What happened? Where is it?
It's gone, but we're still in danger. I need everyone to stay with me for just a couple more minutes. Eric, Klaus, can you go down below deck, make sure we're not taking the water?
You know this wouldn't have happened if you listened to me.
Varric will look at you and just say, we made a decision as a group.
Did we?
Did we not vote on it?
I don't technically believe we did. I think you and Klaus just simply said it after Neri and I disagreed with you. And now, he's dead.
Listen. We can talk about this in a minute. We need to make sure we're not sinking right now. After that, you are free to yell and scream and curse and even beat the shit out of me if you want.
Wait a minute.
But we need to survive at this moment. You two head below deck. Make sure we're not taking on water. If we are, it's our top priority. I'll find Na'vi, make sure she's okay. Tenzin, can you help Alexis to the captain's quarters and make sure she's in bed?
Stamping twice on... Oh no, I guess it is stormy, so... No, never mind. Klaus goes ahead and stands up. And we'll just kind of look over towards Eric before heading down. Are you trying to imply that it is our fault for his death?
I told you that something was out here.
Right. Well, what do you want? A gold medal for being right? Being right or wrong doesn't change the fact that he's currently 100 or more feet underneath the water. So good job. You were fucking right. He's gonna start heading down.
Eric goes to punch Klaus with that.
Oh, no.
Make your attack, Eric.
I mean, it's not a great attack because he's not a monk.
Oh.
Yeah. I rolled a 2.
Yeah, so a 6 to hit, but Eric, you go to throw a punch at Klaus just as he turns his back towards you. Klaus, you feel that sudden exhale of a breath of someone moving quickly towards you and manage to move your step off to the side in time before the fist hits you.
Hey!
He'll move out of the way and immediately just stare Eric directly in the face and just get right up in his face. Go ahead. create even more problems, why don't you? We're already in the middle of the fucking ocean and you're going to throw punches at me. Really?
We need to survive for the first part. You too. Eric, I know you're upset, and like I said, yell at me later. You can beat the shit out of me if you want. But let's handle this
Varric,
first.
if you say another word, I'm gonna throw you into the water.
You're not going to do shit.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're here for Varric. Where were you when I was trying to make sure Tenzing and Neri didn't die?
Oh, I don't know. In the sea, trying to retrieve this one. And points over towards the leg.
She flinches at that and then looks at you, Eric. If there's anyone to blame, it is myself, all right? I was thrown and I couldn't swim, and he spent the entire fight getting me. So don't get angry at him.
Alexis couldn't swim. Another possibility that was brought up, and still our glorious leader who knows things and doesn't tell the rest of us.
Eric. She catches your gaze. Please. Not now.
This is fucking priceless. He's gonna head back further down underneath to check if there's any leakage.
Eric's gonna glare at its back, and then instead of going down, he's going to try to climb up to the crow's nest to see if he can see any nearby islands, or if he can see the coast.
All right.
Eric. Oh, sorry.
Despite all the damage the ship took, you get the sense that it is at least still fairly safe to climb up the crow's nest. So you are able to do that. We'll hop back to you in a second. The rest of you guys.
Barrick will look at Tenzing and just be like, and just look at Alexis like, can I count on you for this?
Tenzing through the arguing had been looking at the ground beneath his hooves, and his heart rate had started increasing and his fist started to ball up. And he looked like he was about to say something, but as the argument died down, he deflated. And he just nods. And we'll head over to Alexis.
And Alexis, you saved Tenzing's life today. Walk away with that. And Barrick will walk off into the cabins to try to find Navi.
He'll lean down a bit and tiredly he'll mutter, "Yes, it's not your fault. And thank you."
She presses her lips together tightly and just shakes her head. Doesn't say anything.
I know. I saw his body get taken away. There are plenty of things that we could do right now to blame ourselves for things we couldn't have done. But not now. Let's get off the water. And he'll hover a hand over her shoulder and he'll wait for her permission to touch.
She looks towards you at the movement. A very pained look in her eyes, but in a lot of anger as well. You don't get the sense it's towards you, though. And rather than allow it, she just gives a nod and walks away.
He'll put his arm down and he'll call out to her again before she gets away any further. Lexus. Wait.
Make a persuasion check.
Where's my... Oof.
She keeps moving.
He swallows and nods to himself. And he'll walk over to the captain's quarters, make sure, I guess, everything is set there, and then he'll start checking out the boat from the top side and see any problems concerning the boat from there.
All right. Klaus, as you head down the steps, you do see that on the below the very last step onto the floor that is the cabin area, you spot what appears to be a bit of water up to about your ankles.
Klaus will make for a pretty quick move to check on Navi. That first of all, before assessing the leak.
All right. You search each of the rooms. It doesn't take you long looking into one of the rooms to spot her. She seems to be huddled up underneath one of the beds. There's a blanket covering her head, and she's shaking. The water is also up to her knees, and she's sitting in it, so she's gone a little wet from it.
Klaus will slowly approach and just... At first his face was tinted with frustration, amongst other things, but his face will mellow out as he takes a deep breath and turns more passive.
And Varric, you said you followed after. You talked to everyone?
Yeah, Varric was specifically looking for Navi.
All right. After you spoke with everyone, headed out after Klaus, you soon find the two as well. And
Hey.
He kind of looks back towards you and kind of looks over towards Navi. It's safe now. You can come out.
Everything's alright, nothing will hurt you. We made the monster go away.
still shaking, she opens her eyes and looks towards you both, which had been shut really tightly throughout that whole period of time, and she kind of looks around the room where...
What'd you say? You cut out for that last part.
She looks around the room warily.
Sorry if the boat's still shaking. It's a bit stormy outside, so it's gonna be a bit of time until smooth sailing.
But fortunately, everything is peaceful at the moment, I suppose you could say. Looking her over, does she look injured at all?
Make a perception check.
Okay.
Could I do it this well?
Yeah, I'll allow you to do it.
What else would it be? Perception or shit? Never mind. Hey.
Despite the fact she's still cowered underneath the bed, looking her over, it doesn't look like she's really taken much for injury. You notice a couple scratches and scrapes along her arms and legs, but otherwise she doesn't seem seriously injured.
I will cast a healing word and just say, "You're safe. Nothing can harm you now." As I give her 7 hit points.
Got it. The
Got it.
scratches and scrapes clear up on her skin.
It's up to you, Varric. You can continue to stay watching her, but I think I might need a bit of help looking for the
I trust in your ability to do so. I think she needs someone here with her.
All right.
Hey.
Hmm.
Thanks for the backup. I know Eric's mad and we'll need to sort that out, but I appreciate you standing by me, I suppose.
He kind of stares at him just for a little bit before kind of a slow nod and kind of looks over up at the ceiling, the top of the deck, and just looks back over towards Varric. I believe that with what you've said to me before and with what has happened, we tried to entertain the best possible circumstance and, well, it didn't work out. But that doesn't mean it's your fault. You can go to hell faster than he can blame you.
No, and in all truth and honesty, while his opinions are valid, I'm not going to. I know if I blame myself, that would extinguish my own light, and I don't think Neri would have wanted that.
Don't. Because it wasn't.
What I've learned is that, at least on my journeys thus far, is that many decisions are made that could lead to many possible outcomes, but the roads we travel cannot be foreseen much farther than a few feet ahead. And when something awful happens, where hindsight becomes much of a tool of your own destruction that you use yourself, it's important to realize that not all tools need to be used. If I'm making any sense.
No, I get it.
But
kind of looks towards the ceiling one more time.
But just keep in mind one thing. I'm not going to forget this, nor Neri. Let's By the way, you've been you've seemed a little off the last day or so. I want to ask you how you're doing, but can I trust that you'll be okay for a little while longer?
His eyes for maybe a minute, maybe a second, just kind of grow a little misty, but kind of looking off in a different direction. But he looks back over towards you and he nods solemnly. Just, yeah, we can talk about it later, but for whatever it's worth, it's nothing concerning our feelings, I don't think.
Good. I rather not drive a wedge between our friendship if possible.
He gives a little snort at that, not looking quite at you, but He just kind of turns his head to the side to where this side of his face meets yours, and he's just, I'm gonna go check on that lake now.
Yeah.
For walking off.
Varric will turn his attention back to Navi and just say, "Hey." And he'll sit down next to her, getting even more wet in the process, and just say, "I know I can't make everything better, but I promise that you will be safe, no matter what." And he'll kind of open his arms and just kind of ask, "Do you need a hug?"
She looks at the offering for a moment, but eventually gives a small shake of her head, her gaze dropping down to her palms.
Do you want to talk?
There's a moment's pause.
I promise. Anything you want to say, I'll make sure that I don't repeat unless you want me to. I'm your friend. So, anything you want of me, you shall have.
She shakes her head at that. You get the sense just because that's not what is on her mind, that's not what the problem is. She kind of once again warily looks over the room. Is it gone?
Yes, it's gone.
She gives a nod at that. It just remains where she is, huddled up in the blanket.
Come on, let's get you out of the water at least.
She shakes her head no.
No? Alright. Then let's sit for a while.
Alright. Varric, as you do that, Eric, you made your way up to the top of the crow's nest to look around, make your perception.
Sure. He would also be looking for like any possible predators in the water. He just wants to get as much of a lay of the water, I guess, around him
Lay
as possible.
Lay of the sea.
Oh wow, that was a 2. I rolled a 2.
Oh, jeez.
Expertise is nice, isn't it?
Looking around the area, you said trying to get a lay of the land?
Yeah, well, he wants to both see, or I mean, specifically, he wanted to see if he could see the coast. If there's any like nearby pieces, like small islands or stuff like that. And also, if he wanted to see if there's like any creatures in the water that, like, if we had to like go in the water, would there be like sharks or something?
Looking around, it's hard to see in the water, what with it splashing and moving around as the storm still rages on, water pouring down and soaking you into your shoes. Looking out amongst the chaos of the sea, you do believe you spot off in the distance a single little point. You're not sure if it's land or a boat, or it's hard to say from this distance, but you do spot one little place where there isn't just endless sea.
Okay, in that case, Eric would spend a minute up there focusing on what do you call it? His primeval awareness to see if there's any humanoids within 5 miles.
All right. As far as you can see within the 5 mile radius, you do get a bit of an alert off in that direction.
Can I tell how many it is? Because it's I can just click it what it says. So I get to know.
One moment.
Yeah, second to last paragraph and last paragraph.
Yes, you do get 2 humanoids that direction.
2.
Yes.
That's not a lot. How close are they?
From that spot of land, you get the sense it's probably about 2-3 miles.
Okay. Oh boy. I think Eric would just. I think Eric would just, after getting that information, he would just like lean against the edge of the crow's nest and like stare up at the sky. And he would just say, I don't know if you're listening, Kellenpour, but you're a real piece of shit. It wasn't his fucking time. And then he would, I don't know, he would like think about doing something rude towards the sky, but then he's like, that is stupid. And then he would just say it again, just like, fuck you. Fucking piece of shit. You don't get to decide this shit.
You just hear a rumble of thunder in the distance.
Yeah, and then Eric would just sit up there until he is calmed down or he sees Varric and Klaus come up.
Alright. Tenzing. You check around the deck of the ship, you said, right?
Yeah. See any damage, what we still have. Basically, like, he's been up deck, so he's kind of seen where sailors tend to go to, what they maintain. Just see how the ship is doing altogether, at least from up here that he can see.
Looking around, make a investigation check.
Oh dear. Yeah.
Looking around, and overall, you do get the sense that the boat has taken quite a bit of damage. You're not sure if it's enough where the boat is at risk of sinking, or if it's able to continue moving on, or if it shouldn't. You're not sure. But you can see, like, there are areas where the deck has been caved in, and, like, peeking down, you can spot the cabin area. And then further in, you can spot the storage area. And in doing so, you do spot what seems to be another hole down in the storage area. You can't get a very good angle on how bad it is from up on deck, though.
Okay. He'll look around. Alexis is still on deck. Who else is on deck? Eric and Alexis?
She's not on deck, no.
Okay. And it's just Eric then?
Yeah, Eric's up in the crow's nest.
Okay. He'll try to peek down as much as he can into that hole. But Danny, please.
It is possible to go down to the storage area.
By myself.
I mean, that's up to you.
In my horse body? Like, am I able to lower myself down?
Yeah, you can get yourself down there.
Oh, okay. He will, try to peek, and seeing how he can't do it. He can't see anything from here. He's gonna holler up to Eric. Eric!
Eric, make a well, your passive is 19, so you would hear Tenzin calling out to you over the crashing waves and booming thunder. Well, actually, since that is in the way, make a perception check.
Okay. There we go.
All right,
Great,
yeah.
now it's
Good your turn calling out to you.
Eric would turn towards Tenzing and lean over and just shout back, "What?"
He has a similar look, less frustration and just more tired. But he'll yell back up to him. I see something in the cargo. I'm going to check on it. I think there might be a hole. And he doesn't say anything anymore and heads down.
All right. As you head in that direction, the entryway to the cargo hold, it is basically unlike the other ship you had been in, where it's sort of like you're lowered in. It does seem to be like a very like wide sort of stairway area that you can step down and fit in if you duck your head.
Okay.
So you make your way down into there. As you do notice something kind of odd. As you're making your way down, you notice movement off to your left, and when you look, for a second you believe it's Alexis falling down after you, even though that's strange since she had been on the deck with you. But it seems more like a blurry outline, her stepping down the steps and then vanishing, and then stuttering back into your visual before disappearing again.
Remind me again, has he seen this before? Like, I remember, I think he's seen her blurring, right? When she had been unconscious before on Destelia, right? I'm asking what he recognizes, sort of.
It looks similar to after your battle with the Wyvern.
Okay. At first, seeing a vision as peripheral, he just kind of defensively hold on to the hilt of his sword. But he'll yell, "Hello? Is anyone there?" And getting assuming no response, he'll let go of his sword and sees that it's Alexis, and he'll jolt for a second, seeing the bits and pieces of her after image, and he'll start to follow it wherever it's leading to.
When it vanishes, it doesn't appear after it stutters in and out about 2 separate times.
Oh, okay.
But
Oh,
good.
he'll look around then. Just, Alexis, Lass.
What? You hear call down from in the cargo area.
He'll walk over. What's she doing right now?
It takes a bit of looking around, but you do spot her seated on the ground. Her back is against the wall, and she seems to just be staring out into the now very visible to you large hole on the side of the ship where the cargo hold is. Looking around, you do see that a large number of boxes and barrels are missing, and you got the sense that it is very possible that with all the rocking and shaking of the ship, as well as the damage to the cargo hold, that a lot of stuff was lost out to sea. And looking out, you can see the occasional scattered wood and the occasional, what looks to be dried food drift off and get washed underneath the waves. They're seeming normal. You do notice again off to your visual, off to the side, that same flicker, though this time it seems to kind of stumble its hand against the wall as it flickers in and out of existence, clutching at its throat and seeming to be heaving and coughing, but then disappearing again. Alexis is still physically sitting right there, though, where you see her.
He'll watch the visions, and then look back over to her. Is there any water? I'm assuming there's some on the floor here.
Yeah, some has slipped in, and you can see it occasionally slip in and out from that open area as the boat rocked. Never flooding the area, really. Thankfully, the broken portion seems to be just high enough where it's not allowing water to continuously flood in. It's just occasionally splashing in.
Knowing that the boat doesn't look like it's going to take in any more water, at least in this area, he'll sit next to her. And we'll wait a bit. See how she responds.
Doesn't say anything. Though, after a long period of silence passes, eventually she's just and turns her attention away from the hole and looks at you. So it looks like we've lost a good amount of food. Do we have any? How's everything looking up on deck?
Well, it's not looking great. But it's easy to see. Can't tell from here, but not sure if the boat's sinking or not. I'm sure the others will be able to tell. That's
What was that?
he'll open his mouth and close it again, and his brows furrow as he tries to think of what to say. But I mean, I know that's a priority to think about the boat, but do you want to? I want to see how you do. No, you're not doing great. I can see it.
I mean, if you take a look around, no one is doing great.
He does a half shrug. But even so, I wanted to check on you. And if you want to, at least let out your thoughts. I'm here. You don't want me to say anything while you do so, it's fine. Just you took a beating. But I'm glad you're safe. I'm still here.
I took a beating. Ha.
You did. Got thrown. Got beat up by the water. And, well,
lot of you took a beating, Tenzin. All I did was drown.
How many of us were in the water? Really, a lot of us were drowning. Just because you weren't being actively attacked by it doesn't make it any worse or better. Severity of how much beating you still got hurt.
Tenzin, I mean no offense by this, but I'm not your concern right now. Your focus should be on the others and the ship and things that are actually important right now. I spent this entire fight being an obstacle, and I don't want that to happen right now either, so...
His brows furrow at that, and a frown deepens. Alexis, the others that are my concern include you. You are of concern.
I know I am of concern, that's the problem!
As a friend, you're not a burden.
You might not have seen it since you were struggling with that creature and busy fighting it. I wasn't able to help at all. And because of me, Klaus wasn't able to help at all. And those times that Varric wasted his spells bringing me back, he wasn't helping.
Alexis, that's not fair to you. If it were me out there in your place, if it was Klaus, if it was Varric, if it was Eric, if they were drowning, if Varric used his spells on them to bring them back, if it was someone else, would you be saying that right now? Would you call them useless? I don't think you would.
The lot of you have already proven that you're worth bringing back. Over and over again, all I do is be a large burden on you all. All I do is get in the way, and even when I'm stronger and I've done all this training and was feeling so fucking proud of myself. She runs her hands through her hair, bringing her knees up to her chest, and tears just start to freely fall. In the end, it meant nothing. In the end, I'm still useless. In the end, I'm still nothing.
And tears also start to freely fall from his hands. He tries to reach out again, but decides against it and puts into his lap. Thus, I know that I can't convince you overnight. That's not the case. That I can't change the way you view yourself just by saying anything, because in the end it's something for yourself. But you're putting extremely high standards on yourself, and it's not fair.
I'm putting the bare minimum. I couldn't even do that.
Alexis, you are doing the maximum. I don't know exactly what happened, but I felt your magic. I knew that was you, and I'm pretty sure I would have been with that jellyfish if it weren't for you as well. You did your part in what you could. You're not all that's to blame. Don't put the world's burden on your shoulders. You are doing your... Look, when we first met, you had your powers and you had your singing and you had your spunky personality, and despite knowing that you would have trouble fighting and such, you still came along with us. And of course, it was under circumstances that some you couldn't control. But you've been holding up and you have been training. I don't see that as an action. There's so many things that you've done to give up, right? Could have just said it was enough. Could have walked off. You could have decided against the treatments. You could have tried to go off on your own, but you didn't. You said yes to your life, and you went for it. You are grabbing it. And I can say from experience that, it's not your experience, it's different, but I know what it's like to feel useless, to just want to give up. Being alone. Things you could have done, things you should have done, things you wish you knew how to do better, wishing you were stronger, wishing you had trained more, wishing that the world didn't throw such shitty cards in your face to begin with. But I've learned there's no point in wishing. There's only doing. That's what you're doing. You've gotten a lot farther than you think you have. Alexis, you did good.
She gives a humorless laugh at your last words, and then looks at you, narrowing her eyes. Look me in the eye and tell me I wasn't in the way during that whole fight. Can you do that?
He looks her dead in the eyes. Alexis, you were not burden. You were not useless. You were not in the way.
She shakes her head at that and stands up, very much with a wobble. And you do know when she uses those powers, it is very taxing on the body, and it shows as she's dealing with a great deal of exhaustion. She forces herself to stand up and then looks at you again. Then you're a liar. And just shakes her head, walks away.
That would imply that I'm lying.
She just heads back up the stairs.
He sits there for a while. Just controlling his breaths. Wanting to go after her, but decides against it and lets her be for now. Just mutters to himself. Just be patient. Just patient. Alright. He'll give his face a couple smacks and wipe his eyes. And with another heavy breath, he exhales out and stands up. And he'll start to take inventory of the supplies that they have left, and he'll try to push them as far away from the hull of the boat as he can.
All right. Meanwhile, down in the cabin, Klaus, make an investigation.
My favorite.
Oh, I thought that was gonna be perception. I'm so sorry I sent you to do that.
That's why he asked.
That was my bad.
Oh
I might have to come get Varric in a minute.
I mean, he doesn't know who's doing
Yeah,
that.
he wouldn't come get Varric because he thinks he successfully found nothing.
Looking around the area, Klaus, you don't spot any additional holes or anything like that within the cabin. You get the sense that this water must have come in from pouring down the stairs when the water, each time the boat rocked and water managed to get onto deck. That's probably how that got there. And as you finish up your investigation, step out into the hallway. Brian, with the message that you sent me, Eric, you make your way down.
Yeah, Eric would go and just not say anything and go to his cabin to grab his pack.
And you said grab Nary stuff too?
Yeah, and grab Nary stuff too. I just wasn't sure. I don't remember if it was in the cargo or not.
No, you grab your stuff and Nary stuff from his room, stepping back out again.
Klaus stops in his tracks once he kind of sees him. Can he get a read of his look on his face?
Should he roll insight? I mean, it's
I'm doing great, guys.
You're not really able to get a read on him.
Then just a short breath would just come out of his nose and just walk by, going back to... I guess we're actually, if anything, talk to Varric and just tell him that he didn't find any. Just kind of quickly check in.
Thank you, my friend. Let's make sure we get some pails together and try to empty the water out. Make sure.
Right.
I'll be with you in a minute. So.
If Eric actually hears that, would he?
Well, you guys aren't really whispering, so...
They're talking quieter, but they're not whispering.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Up to you, Nick.
I mean, you guys are all on the same floor, so you guys weren't specifying that you were trying to be quiet. So yeah, I'd say Eric, you can hear that.
Okay, Eric would just walk to the door and say, do any of you actually know how to navigate or where we're going or where we are?
If the captain had some navigator's tools, I could probably take a look at it for a little bit.
Yeah, do you know how to use them? I can look at them too.
Varric will just kind of rub a ring on his finger and say, "Yeah, I can use them."
I don't... Can I tell if he's telling the truth?
I am.
Well, Eric isn't sure that he believes you.
Eric can roll an insight. Varric, you're persuasion.
Parmesan. Parmesan.
By the way, how many days have we been at sea? 3?
Yep.
Okay, just need to keep track of something. Persuasion, you say?
Mhm.
Nice.
Thankfully, that overrules Eric's bad roll. Eric, even though you're very doubtful, Varric is very convincing that he's telling the truth.
Do I? Okay. I mean, I don't know what Eric knows about ships, but would he know if just one person knowing how to navigate is enough for us to take care of the ship?
Make a straight intelligence check.
Oh, great.
Oh, great.
No. Oh no.
Buddy.
I mean, who needs a crew? One person can do it.
Yeah, Eric would just sigh and say that there's 2 people on like an island or something. 2 or 3 miles out that way, and he would point through the wall towards where he got those pings. So if we can get there, we could probably get some stuff to fix up the boat so we don't, in case the storm gets worse or something, we don't sink.
Roger that. Alright, I'll be up in a minute.
If you're the only person who knows how to do this, maybe you should be up now.
Okay, just 1 minute. That's all I'm asking.
Merrick, you can stay with her if you really need to do.
Alright.
He's right. This is an important thing to do.
Alright. Alright, I'll look at her. I'll be right back, okay?
Eric would head upstairs.
Did she respond?
And
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
No, I was just wondering if Navi responded at all.
Sorry, I missed what you said.
Varric looked at her and said, I'll be right back, okay?
She gives a small nod.
And here, Klaus. And Varric will pull out a painting. And it's one you've never actually seen before. It's of a maiden dressed in black. She's facing towards the bottom of the painting, as though she were falling in the sky. She holds a rose, and her hair, her hair is black and her skin is pale, but she smiles as she falls. Very, very gentle smile. Here, I painted something, and why don't you two look over it, discuss it a little bit, and if she wants to try her hand, and Varric will hand him his painter supplies. I have some ink, brushes, parchment, and canvases, everything you would need in there.
All right.
By the way, for context, I got a natural 20 on that one.
Wonderful. Yeah, no.
So that's a 30 total.
Stares at it for a bit of time before he just kind of his eyes flick over towards Varric and look back down and then look back over towards him and just just I'll try not to give them water damage.
Don't worry about it. Just like I said. And he'll come
Could we do art appreciation later?
Sorry.
Klaus visibly cringes at that and just tightens his jaw, stares off at a point on the wall.
Sorry. And he'll look at it close and just whisper, try to see if you can get her mind off of it. I'm just saying maybe this would be a good way for her to open up a little. Then Varric will walk off.
He doesn't look at you, but he does nod.
After Varric walks out, Eric just tells Klaus really quickly, you can kick my ass when we get somewhere safe, but someone needs to be an asshole right now. And then he leaves.
He doesn't seem to respond to the words, but you can assume that they are heard.
All right, Eric, Varric, both of you guys make your way up onto the deck. As you do pass by Alexis, who seems to have found these small buckets. And as you guys kind of come across one another, she holds one of the. Is there any water damage down there?
Yeah, the boat's taking on some water. Klaus says it's probably there's no leaks, so once we get it out, it should be good.
There's also damage to the cargo hold.
Shit.
Though I don't think we can get the water out of that. It's just going to pour in again.
Let's see if we can try to take apart some of the crates and barrels. We'll use them to board it up a little bit. Where's Tenzin? Could he might be able to do that.
He's also in the cargo hold. We've lost a number of boxes and barrels to use.
Alright, well, let's make some use of the supplies we do have. Could you go down... Are you okay? I know you seem better than before, but... Can you go down there and ask him to start patching that up, and then if you're able to start bailing out some water?
You won't... Repeat that. You want me to get Tenzing to patch it?
Yeah, see if he can take apart the crates using whatever he has, and then, just try to make the hole smaller so not as much water gets in and we can keep it manageable. And then I need you to start bailing some water out, as this is going to end up being a high priority throughout our travels.
Eric, what are you getting up to?
Well, someone needs to be up here to help Varric with... Oh, he points to all the ropes. I don't know if he can reach all of them.
I probably cannot.
Alright, I'll pass on the information. She looks down the other bucket she still has in her hand, and she's like, I'll just hold on to this for now. Alright, let's go take care of things. She'll turn around and walk back towards the cargo hold.
Eric.
Sorry, continue.
Oh, sorry. I wasn't sure if we were switching. Nikki, which way are we going?
Oh, well, Alexis' thing is really quick as she just comes down to the cargo hold, quickly tells Tenzing everything you guys told her. Not really making eye contact, just not in a great mood at the moment, and immediately heads back upstairs to go take care of the one place that water can be taken care of, and start scooping that out from the hallway and out over the deck.
Okay. Could I take a... I don't know if that's investigation, just like counting what we do have and what we don't?
Looking out over the available things within the cargo hold. Before, there were so many that it would take some time to count it all out, but this room is pretty empty now. You spot that there are just 2 barrels to work with.
Okay. We'll probably roll those out into another room, and start trying his best to patch up what he can.
Alright, so you're going to use the barrels to patch up the...
Oh wait, so there's only 2 barrels in there?
Yes, there's only 2 barrels.
Okay. What's inside the barrels?
Looking into the first one, you spot what seems to be rum.
Mm-hmm.
Peeking into the second barrel, you spot It's empty for the most part, but there seem to be 2 or 3 fish at the bottom.
Okay. He'll sigh. Live fish, dead fish.
They're flopping around. They're live.
Okay. Yeah, he'll Okay, well, there's nothing else to use to patch up the hole.
Looking around, you don't think those 2 barrels are going to do the job.
Okay. In that case, he's gonna start looking around for like loose chip pieces, any like leftover planks of wood, or like any beds that can be taken apart, their bed frames and such. He's just gonna start walking around the different areas of the ship, trying to find things that can patch it.
Investigation.
Oh boy, my favorite. Oh, okay, not the worst.
All right. Before you start tearing everything down, you kind of do a quick assessment of the ship and any free stuff you could potentially use to clear to patch up the hole. You get the sense that you don't think you're really going to be able to patch it up with what's available on the ship.
Okay. In that case, look over through the hole. At least from the side that he's in, how many lifeboats are there?
Peeking over the edge, you spot... there are 2 separate lifeboats. One on either side.
They doing okay? They being held up fine?
They look like they're doing okay.
Okay. Yeah. In this case, he'll move the barrels into another room just so then they don't possibly roll out of the hole. But he is going to, at first, he looks at the barrel with the alcohol in it and looks like he considers chucking it. I'm concerned for some people who might try to drink it, but he also remembers that it was considered to also be used as an explosive. I think it was. If he was on deck for that when that was yelled, which I think he was. So we'll just keep them in the room for now and then head back upstairs. See what the others might need.
All right.
While that was happening, when Alexis walks away, Varric will look at Eric and say, "You know I am sorry, correct?"
Let's just. It's not gonna help at this point.
My office still stands. Should you feel the need, you may yell, scream, curse, and beat the shit out of me if you so desire. Varric will start walking towards the captain's chambers.
All right, so Varric, you had there. Eric, you said you were going to help out with that, or?
Yeah. Yeah, he would. He would also set down Neres and his packs down someplace that won't get thrown off the boat.
Yeah, throw him in the captain's quarters.
I think Eric is still worried that something's gonna happen to the boat, so he would probably put them around the mast or something. That way he can grab them easily if they need to get to the lifeboats.
So you're going to try to tie them around the mast?
I mean, he has boats. He has boats. He has rope.
Okay.
So
All right, you wrap a rope around the mast and the bags.
And he'll follow Varric.
All right.
Eric's gonna go to the captain's quarters to see if he can't find a set of navigator's tools.
Walking into the captain's quarters, you do spot a large desk, quote unquote large desk for how big the ship is. And strewn across it is kind of a map that's on the smaller size. It seems to be mainly of the Northern Empire. And you make an investigation check.
Both of us.
Are you helping me by chance?
I cannot. Am I able to? I'm like an idiot.
You're not proficient, right?
No.
All right, so no.
I think I'm the only one who's actually proficient in investigation.
Make your roll, Varric. Oh wow.
Woo. I mean, Eric would be looking for anything valuable since it's the captain's gone.
Make another investigation check.
Wow, you fucking... Okay.
Oh dear. Oh no. You tried.
Looking around, you can't really find anything of interest. You find a half-empty bottle of...
He'll hold on to that. For later.
Got it. Got it. Varric, with the nat 20, looking around, you don't find navigator's tools, but you do find a compass.
Could I potentially use this to maybe start this combined with the map and whatnot? Could I use this to potentially steer our way back on course?
It's kind of like if we know where north is and we know generally where we were headed, we just go in the opposite of direction of north.
I also know where the people are. I'm a literal radar.
Make me a straight intelligence check, Varric.
Alright.
You get the sense you could attempt, but it'd be very risky, potentially.
Why so?
Because you are not super familiar of everything that is within the this area of water, nor are you working alongside a functioning crew.
Alright. Well, that's not good.
I'm guessing it's supposed to be more than a map and a compass.
Yep, he was supposed. I was imagining he'd have a full set of navigator's tools.
It's probably on him.
Maybe. Alright. And there's nothing else of value I can glean from my natural 20 investigation check, perhaps, that we could use?
I will allow it since it's a natural 20, but next time you do got to specify if you're looking for more than just a navigator's tool, since that is what you specified.
Right.
But with the nat 20, looking around the room, you would come across what appears to be a little sort of locked cubby of sorts. And with the nat 20, you do eventually manage to find the keys, which had been tucked underneath the desk. And taking them off the ring and going over to the cubby and unlocking it, you do spot, you do find a bag of coin.
Alright. Anything else?
A bag of coin and a... Me blanking on the name. I should have took out my notes. What's it called?
Key to the ship?
No. Well, yes, you find that there too, but the one that I'm thinking of, the thing for looking out the crow's nest with,
Telescope.
Spyglass?
Yeah, spyglass.
Spyglass is what they call
Where's
it.
the sextant?
It was in the navigator's tools.
Fuck.
So you find the spyglass, bag of coin, and deed to the ship.
Holy shit. That's gonna be useful. Varric very
you-
carefully pulls out the spyglass and says, "Do you know how much these things are worth?"
A lot, I'm guessing. Also,
1,000
probably
gold.
That's great. Probably more helpful to me right now, trying to get us to a better place.
No, that's what I was about to say. Is I want you to tell it. You have good eyes. You take care of this.
Okay, and you would take it. Since we can't really. Do you at least know how to steer the ship and what to do with the mast without the tools that you needed?
Well, I was steering the ship earlier, so
Well,
we're going. I'm not going to lie. I don't know necessarily how to operate a ship of this size, but I have an idea of how the main principles work. We just need to figure out which rope is correlated to which sail.
okay, I should
Experiment.
be able. Sorry, go ahead.
No, just you were just going to experiment with them, right?
Yeah, I was going to suggest though, I can tell you where the nearest people are. I only sense 2 of them, but they're on, I think, an island or something.
All right, let's head that way. See if we
So I
can.
yeah.
Do you want to head up first to the crow's nest, use that, and see if you can't get a good look at them?
Yeah, I will. I'll be right back then. And he would
Oh, Eric,
head up. Sure.
I know you're mad, but I do appreciate.
You're gonna apologize. It's not the time.
I wanted to see how you were holding up.
I swam after a giant jellyfish that attacked us on a boat and left us without a crew when I specifically said, let's not get on a boat. And I saw it crush someone who helped Tenzing and frankly didn't have to, but he did, and now he's dead. And so I don't know. You tell me.
I imagine you're feeling kind of shitty right now.
I'm feeling pretty angry. And I would rather not keep having this conversation with you.
Very well. Alright, let's get to work.
Eric's gonna head out and go up to the crow's nest.
Me lo voy a traer para acá, estoy escuchando una cuestión, mamá.
Oh, hello.
Danny,
Beautiful.
¿Con el qué?
we can hear you.
Danny, we can hear you.
Oh shit, sorry.
Me too.
My mother.
Okay.
Neri was arguing
Varric's
with
also going
Tello.
to take a quick look at that as he's walking out. He just wanted to see if there was a picture of a photo or something, like a letter to someone who this guy might have known.
You're looking to see if you can find something of relation to people like the captain knew?
Sorry, I think I cut out there for a second. No, Varric was just gonna take a quick look at the deed, see if he could find a name to who to let know of what happened here. Family, stuff like that.
So you're looking at the deed to figure out what?
I'm looking for a family name or something like that, just to see if there is someone we could potentially find later to maybe let know what happened, hand the ship back to you, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Eric, as he is climbing up, he would shout to Varric. He would shout, He would shout, I'm losing the phrase. Get into contact with the general.
I can't do that today. I'll have to do that tomorrow. I'm a
Yeah.
little tapped. Sorry.
Eric would just keep climbing then.
All right. Signed to the deed, you would see the name Bert Duckman.
Alright. I'll put the deed back down and head out and take my position at the wheel, I guess, and actually check as Alexis is dumping out water. Just say, how's your progress?
You catch her as she's scooping out water to pour out the side again, and looks towards you and then looks towards the water, just like moving very slowly.
Okay. Could you go get Klaus? We might need some help with these sails.
On it.
Thank you.
She'll make her way down the steps, searching each of the cabins. Well, during all this time, Klaus, what were you doing? Were you doing anything particular with Navi?
I would say that he would have taken out his special notebook, and to kind of keep really the both of them entertained, he was just kind of writing about whatever kind of came on his mind, thinking about other things, simpler times, forests, crickets at night, stars, the works.
In the special one?
Mhm.
All right. Roll me a check for that.
Painter supplies.
I wonder. One second, let me just ask you something in Chindium.
Okay.
Okay. So just do this.
So with the +2, that's an 18.
18. So, describe your painting again.
I'd say it was more or less just like, put simply, it's just a low angle at a forest at night. Likely what could be considered the more park-esque area within Findlefair at night. Fireflies, dark trees, the slight glowing luminescence of the night sky on the green leaves up above. The moon peeking through.
All right. As this is the first time you've made a more environmentalist type piece with this special notebook, sort of half expecting it to just sort of peel off and take on just a little miniature figure, what surprises you is that the image stretches wider and larger and larger. The night sky paints itself across the wooden ceiling above you, masking it and making it actually appear like you are underneath the night sky with the large moon. The bench off to the side, the stars scattered about. And as you had passed quite a bit of time doing that, the Navi crawls out just a tiny bit so she can kind of get a look at it with that wide-eyed look to her gaze that she had during Varric's performance with his magic instrument. She seems just as amazed looking at this. And as this is happening, you do hear like the splash of steps coming by, and Alexis peeking her head in. She kind of looks up at seeing it, staring at it for a moment before her attention looks over towards you and then at Navi for a moment, then back.
I would mention that she'd be able to recognize the scene. They've been in it a few times now.
That is true. She very much had a very hyper-focused, just like stone face expression on her face as she focused on getting work done and make sure you guys continued on. But upon seeing it and looking up at the starry sky that has stretched above the ceiling, it shatters for a moment to a look of uncertainty and confusion and just a flicker of relief before she kind of shakes it off and then looks towards you. Varric asked me to get you to help out on top.
He'll look over towards Navi and just... You think you'll be okay by your own for a minute?
Her eyes had been just staring up at the painted image, just hyper-focused on it, and then it, even as it begins to dissipate and disappear back to the normal wooden ceiling in the room that you guys were in, she turns her gaze to you and gives a small nod, wrapping herself more tightly around the blanket.
He slowly gives a nod and he just... Remember what they said. If you need me, just call. And he'll get up and really can't dust himself off, but he'll drench whatever cloth he can before walking over next to Alexis, and again we'll give her a bit of an appraising look.
Appraising look, you said?
Yeah, seeing how she's looking, how she's feeling.
Insight. Oh, jeez. I gotta message you now.
Hey. So how's everybody day been?
Kind of shitty, to be honest.
Sorry to hear that.
Tiring. Took my dog out to the dog park, which is a good 5-mile walk, and then did weights with my nieces afterwards.
Use your nieces as the weight.
Actually, my niece Josen can leg lift as much as I do, so
Oh shit. Nice.
Damn. How old is she?
15.
Jesus Christ!
Shit.
Or, no, wait, 14. Something like that. I can never remember damn age anymore.
What the fuck?
Well, she plays football, hockey, lacrosse.
Oh yeah, I can
shit.
imagine.
She
What the-
freaking works at the gym 3 days a week, has been bodybuilding training, you know, that kind of stuff.
I
Jesus.
kind of stand her now.
Uh,
This is wonderful.
Oh,
Oh, what's
okay,
up, Danny?
bye.
Danny.
Hi, Danny.
Oh no.
Ah, Danny, come talk for a minute.
Oh no, I just got the message.
I'm sorry. Please don't be mad at me. Ah! Sorry. Say hi,
Oh.
please.
We love you. Say wow.
Oh,
All
I'm
right.
sorry. I'm so sorry.
Fuck it.
Anyways, we've been recording
Oh.
again, guys, so see
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
Danny.
Oh, fuck. Come on.
Sorry,
No, but
Danny.
Here, Heath
I'll
restart.
Recording.
Klaus will kind of note all of this stuff, and he'll get up, and after walking through the door, he'll stop in his tracks and turn around to look at her, expecting her to stop, arms crossed.
Like you block the way to leave.
Essentially, yeah.
Her gaze, which had kind of like remained like on the walls and off to the floor, stops, and she kind of looks at you as you stand in her way. What?
You know the expression, it takes one to know.
I'm familiar with it.
You've seen me several times fix the postures of those who simply cannot stand up very well. Frankly, you kind of have a worse structure than the Burning Inn of Melil. Tell me what's up.
Bit of a flinch comes to her expression at that, and she looks off to the side again. This really isn't the time to be doing this. We're in a bit of a mess. There's more important things to be focusing on.
It's called General Keep Up. It's what you do after any battle. If you needed an actual reason, that is. My actual reason is that I was concerned. But if you don't want me to, we can talk about this later. Until then, he takes a bit of a breath out of his nose before looking down, closing his eyes before opening them again. I'm not going to force you, but if you could at least give me a summary. We don't have to talk all about it right now, but while we're still out without movement and the sea itself fighting us, I think it's pretty important.
Momentary conflicted look comes to her face, her brow furrowing as she continues to kind of look off to the side. And as that conflicted look is on her face, Klaus, you do see something odd off to her shoulder. She's facing you, so she doesn't see it herself, but you look behind. You see what Tenzing had saw, only this time the figure is clutching their chest and thrashing and waving and dropping to the ground, their mouth open in just this silent scream, flickering in and out before it disappears again. Alexis, with the moment of silence, soon continues. And then looks at him. You're always honest with me, right? And you can do so now.
I can.
That battle. I was a hindrance, yes. Her gaze on yours is very serious.
Ask me a question that doesn't require a yes or no answer. Because that isn't a yes or no answer.
How bad did I get in the way?
He reaches up and rubs at his chin a bit. When the battle had first started, I believe I was the one who was sent off of the boat first. And when I had gotten back, I had noticed that you had been missing. Oh, not only just you, I think the others as well. Except for Varric, I think. No, not yes, Varric. Or was it Neri? Yeah. But when I got back, I could see you inside of the ocean. Or the water. And I went over to get you. Then the storm really began to kick in. The waters began more choppy and the retrieval was really difficult. It took a bit of time and frankly even dodging boats with Varric's plan of what he was doing. But eventually we all got back. Do you see the problem here? Because if you don't, I can gladly spell it out for you.
She presses her lips together tightly. You see her kind of visibly swallow. And then she gives a nod. Tell me.
Back during the Wyvern fight, Tenzing, given his body, was unable to join us, and only the few of us were able to get up there. During the Cave Dragon fight, I was knocked out near immediately, and frankly, if it weren't for luck, I would not have been able to stun it. And likely if it weren't for you and the others, I likely would have died. In that situation, I could sit there and say that I was a burden, or I could look over towards Tenzing and say that he was a burden. And those situations were fundamentally different. We won both of those, albeit by within the split of a hair. And in this one, we lost someone. But in every single one of those, I don't believe it was anyone's fault. I believe it was a matter of situations. So no, I don't think you were a hindrance. I think you were maybe, yes, a victim to the situation that did prevent you from doing everything that you could have, perhaps. But until you ascend to godhood and have control over every situation, I refuse to sit here and tell you that you did absolutely nothing. Because if that's the case, I did nothing, and so did all of us. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't change the fact that Neri is dead.
Come on, Klaus, you can't give me that.
I'm not giving you anything.
She breaks her hands through her hair, looking down at the floor. Yes, of course. People are going to make mistakes in battle, and it's going to be times where a person needs to help another person, of course, yes. I'm not denying that. But you see the difference between you and Vak and Tenzing. Everyone. You've repeatedly done your part. You've repeatedly made a difference. And yes, of course, there were 1 or 2 failures, but it doesn't matter because there are already always so many wins to go along with it. Not with me, though. Even before you training me, time and time again, all I ever did was either go down or get seriously injured or hide away in the corner. And the tears start falling again, just very angry tears. And once I started feeling more confident in myself, and once I started actually having the opportunity to make a difference, and I started thinking, yes, finally, I'm going to have a win. Not another failure to add to my list of only failures. In the end, it didn't do anything. It meant nothing. And once again, I was still a hindrance. I kept you out of the fight for who knows how long. I wouldn't know I was unconscious the whole time. You probably could have done something to save Neri if it wasn't for me. Or Varric, he used his healing to bring me up because I'm drowned. He could have done something. It's just another failure on a list of consistent failures.
Alexis. And he took a deep breath while she was talking, but his eyes have regained their mistiness, a bit of sorrow in there. And he just says, "How long are you going to sit here and feel guilty and feel as if you could not have done anything? And how long are you going to take until you realize that this isn't the period at the end of the sentence?" For most of my life, I have felt nothing but powerlessness. I was made to fight with weapons that were much bigger than I was ever. Weapons that my brother could use, but definitely not me. I was given disadvantage after disadvantage after disadvantage. And all I could ever do is feel frustrated, because all I ever wanted to do was do what he could, what he wanted, what she demonstrated. And I get it. I get why you're upset. Because there's nothing more aggravating than feeling powerless. But you know what? And he reaches over and grabs her hand, pulling it in between the both of them. You're not. When I first started my training, I was convinced that I was worthless. A complete waste of time. But my master continued to say that he saw something in me that I simply couldn't. That every single time I fell on my ass, every single time I passed from exhaustion or combat or just fucked up, he would just say to get back up and keep trying until I succeed. You, upon taking up this training, was the time that you finally got up. And with what has happened, this misfortune, you've fallen back down again. Alexis, you have the ability to make a change. This situation fucking sucked. Yes, I know. But it's not the end. You want me to say that you are worthless, that you are useless? No, because I don't lie. You know me, I don't lie to you. But do you want me to sit here and say that you carried the entire encounter? No, because you didn't. But it's a lot bigger than just you or me. We're a team. We all threw what we could at that exact moment. And frankly, we all sucked. We lost someone. A whole entire member. A life. We failed as a collective. But you know what? Varric's only going to get better with his spells. Mine and yours with our knife play. Every single one of them are only going to get stronger. Better. Because none of us are going to treat it like the end. And neither will you. And he clenches a little bit at her hand. So make a decision. Are you going to take this failure as your last of many more and quit? Or are you going to try to make amends for it and continue to push forward? Because you can. I know you can. I've seen what you've done. You are strong, but... He slowly shakes his head. Not if your belief in yourself wavers. That's when you really lose. That's when you really become useless. It's when even yourself, you can't even stand up for.
She... With the hand that's in hers, she grips it tightly, dragging the other hand that had been her hair back down her face and over the tears that are falling much more rapidly now. Alright, just... I got to get back up. She opens her eyes, finally looks at you again. Very much the shame over herself there in her eyes and her expression. Are you and everyone else really willing to give me another chance?
Are you? looking her dead in the eye.
Okay. Okay. And still wiping at her eyes, the tears just kind of turn into full outright bawling now. Feeling a bit safer due to the thunder booming ahead and the sound of the crashing waves to cover it. She just starts outright sobbing.
He watches her kind of clenching the hand at first, but looking up at the ceiling, the rocking of the waves and whatnot, and remembering that image of suffering, will slowly close the distance and pull her into an embrace. Just quietly, whispering into her ear, he just says, "I'm not going to let you fall back in."
Her sobs get louder at that. And when she returns the embrace, it is very, very tight, kind of giving the sense that she's afraid if she doesn't do so enough that those words won't really hold true anymore. But she nods her head. And it takes a number of minutes before her sobbing eventually slows, along with her breathing. And what you had seen before with how much she had been sort of keeping herself going despite what that magic did to her, she does momentarily go a little limp, but she quickly steels herself and keeps herself.
Now you have options. I am not going to sit here and be hypocritical and tell you to get some rest, even though I can clearly see you teetering. You have two options. You can go over to where Navi is, watch her, and get the littlest bit of rest that you can. We're out in the waters. The amount of maintenance that we at least need right now, I believe, is lower than usual. So you should be fine if you wanted to spend some time down here. Or, if you really feel like you want to push yourself, which you don't have to, you really don't, you can head back up and supply whatever help that Varric was asking for. There is no shame in either option.
For this one, I'll say roll persuasion with advantage.
Stares at the dice. Hey.
Jeez. She gives a nod against your shoulder and steps away. Upon doing so, you do see a little trickle of red at the corner of her mouth, but she just absentmindedly raises her hand and brushes it aside and nods her head. Alright. Well. Alright. Lifting her head and looking at you again, there's a furrow to her brow, a more... Still clearly recovering, but a bit more... At least the flicker now of that stubbornness back in her eyes again. getting up, back up means getting stronger as well, right? So I can't keep pushing myself if my body's not up for it.
Gives a slow approving nod.
Thank you, Klaus. And I didn't say it before with the mess of me sobbing, but I'm sorry.
An apology would be warranted if you did give up, but you didn't. So, in exchange, thank you for not giving up. And he'll give her one last bit of a squeeze before slowly pulling away.
She puts on sort of a not convincing, but doing her best kind of grin on her face. You still very much see a bit of the sadness that is there, but there's a slight tinge of the more usual personality in it. After all, I've got to keep to my word and make sure that I'm able to carry the lot of you, yes?
He'll back away from her, and a little bit of a smirk comes to his face. A wry one, but still a smirk, and he raises a fist in the air, gives it a small pump, and he just... Defender. Helper. Your name.
She has the same, a bit more edge of jovialness coming to the sad grin. Hope. Alright. Giving one last wipe at her eyes, she turns her attention off to the room that Navi is in. I'll go keep an eye on her. And walking over towards the door, she glances back at you one last time, Klaus, again with a smaller smile. Still that edge of sadness to it, but it's genuine. And once this is all cleared up and we're on safer ground, make sure you let me know how you're doing, okay?
Sorry, repeat that bit again?
She said once this is all over and they're on safer ground, let her know how he's doing, okay?
He stares at it for a bit, but he nods.
He gives a little small nod in return and enters the moving out of sight.
He'll head up.
Alright. So up on deck, you guys. Tenzing, you'd finished up realizing that there's nothing that you can really do to patch up that hole in the cargo area. Eric and Varric, it still throws me off. In the captain's quarters,
One of us needs a nickname.
E and V sounds like Evie. I suppose if there's more conversations or more things you want to do, this is before you guys actually commit and act on what you plan on doing next, I suppose.
I mean, Eric would have climbed up to the crow's nest to look with his spyglass. And I also DM'd you one thing he would do while he was up there.
Oh, let me look at that.
While he's doing that, and as Klaus comes up from the ship after waiting almost half an hour after sending Alexis down there, Varric will just be like, Klaus! There you are.
Sorry, I got a little hung up.
How's she doing?
They would also walk up, looking to him for that answer.
He looks down like he's trying to find the words. Better would be a lie, but bad would also be a lie. I suppose recovering is the best word.
Oh, that reminds me. Did she enjoy the painting?
Sorry, are you talking about Navi?
Either of them.
I'm going to be honest, I kind of didn't know what to do with the painting. You gave it to me and I gawked at it for a solid 30 minutes, but I mean, maybe she looked at it. Oddly enough, with everything that's been going on, he almost looks a bit embarrassed.
It's quite alright, yeah. And Varric will take his painting back. Oh, actually, Tenzing.
He had been kind of staring off to the floorboards, but he perks up at it.
Take a look at this. Varric will show him the painting.
Well, it's nice as always.
Yeah, do you know what a shooting star in myth is?
Well, not sure what it. Well, over here, it's making a wish, right? Back home, it was someone passing, saying,
Well, not from what I was taught. From what I was taught, a shooting star is... It's an angel coming down to bless a new couple with eternal love.
So you saw an angel.
No, I've seen no angels. I've merely wanted to capture that idea.
You've seen a god, but no angels.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
But
How are the both of you?
keeping it together.
Question.
Keeping it together mainly to make sure that everyone's fine. Well, everyone's doing what we need to do to survive.
Right.
If you two have burdens, feel free to place them on me. I can take them.
That's not your responsibility.
As your friend, it is.
No, it's
We all listen, we all hold on to each other's burdens.
we support each other. We don't take others' burdens.
Yeah.
But
Listen,
well,
all I'm trying to
I'm sorry. What?
all I'm trying to say is, I think I feel a certain responsibility that I haven't fulfilled. All of you are so young. You haven't even reached your 4th, 5th century? Not century. Decade, I mean. I've lived for over a century, and yet here I am. My point being is, I haven't been acting my age, and I apologize for that.
On the contrary, mates.
No. It's just... I guess what I'm trying to say is, if there's a child in the room and something's gone wrong, the adults have to make sure that they stay calm and keep together and work on it. Otherwise, the children will be scared.
What are you implying?
I'm saying that with over 100 years of experience, I should have a better handle on my emotions than I do.
You can live for 1,000 years, but depending on what you've seen in the world, you can only have 1 year of experience.
Trust me, I've met people older than you who have the capacity of a 5-year-old. You're
But that's-
doing better than you.
But that's not the point. The point is, I haven't been there for you all like you have been there for me. And I am sorry for that.
In what way do you think you haven't been there for us?
With your problems, I haven't given my full effort to help you with them, whether they be emotional, practical, or otherwise.
I don't know whether there's air of subjectivity to that, but frankly, the fact that I'm still standing after everything that we've all gone through as a collective is saying you've done plenty to help. There's nothing wrong with the desire to do more, but be reasonable.
I am. I'm simply saying I'm gonna start acting my age.
I mean,
Don't
if
worry.
you want to declare that, you can, but quite honestly, you've already been doing that long ago.
Mm.
It's like I said before, after the Purple Light incident. You contribute more than you think that you do, Varric, and give yourself more credit.
I'm not. This isn't about me giving myself credit, it's about realizing that I want to give you all a pillar to lean against. That is all I'm saying.
And I will refute again. It is not your sole responsibility.
I know it's not.
But you word it in a way that it makes it sound like it is, or that you haven't. We are a group now, which means that we all pull our weight. I've told you once and I'll tell you again. You have. Now, again, there's nothing wrong with wanting to do more, but don't discount what you've already been doing.
Very well. But
If
how
this
are
is
you
your-
holding up?
Keeping it together. You were right about one thing, definitely, and that is we don't have time to mope. We can worry about that stuff later. For now, this mission, Navi, and making sure we don't turn on each other on this shitty boat is what matters.
Alright, let's get to it then. I need you two to start learning how to manipulate the sails. Start practicing, and I'll take the wheel.
Perhaps we should practice when the entirety of the sky and sea are trying to not kill us.
Unfortunately, it seems we don't have necessarily the time for that. Eric spotted a few people on a massive land, not sure if it's an island or whatnot. Over in that direction, we need to start figuring out how to sail this ship to make our way over there.
Couldn't be the Stalia, no?
No, he only picked up 2 people.
If it was Stalia, then we'd probably see the actual island. It's... Well, wait, no, we took out...
The gate.
Yeah. Besides, that gate basically closes over a week of distance. We're nowhere near Destolia.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's get to work, you two. And Varric will shout out to Eric, "Hey! We're going to start messing with the masses. Let us know if we're starting to pick up more speed."
I know this
Eric,
is
roll perception.
Sure. Is it at advantage since I'm using spyglass?
That doesn't boost your hearing.
Oh,
What if
I
he
was-
shoves it in his ear?
I thought it was because I would have been up here looking at stuff, like looking.
Yeah, I'll have you roll that in a second. This is more
Okay.
just to see if you hear Varric.
Okay.
For the most part, you kind of make out he needs your help with something.
He doesn't react.
And with the spyglass, what are you doing?
He's looking both towards where he got those pings of humanoids from, and also just like looking around.
Okay. One second. Make a perception with advantage.
Cool. Come on.
I feel your pain, man.
Looking out towards where you saw those 2 pings, you don't spot where they came from specifically, aka the figures that would make them, but you do notice that in that direction with that little shadow in the distance that you hadn't been sure what exactly it was, you can make out it does appear to be an island.
All right. What do you call it? He will shout down then towards the others. There's an island that way, and he'll just point to where he sees the island.
Any wood? Any trees?
Do I see trees?
Yeah, you would see a wide variety of trees, and what appears to be a bit of mountain.
Okay. Also, just a question. Looking down at them from up here, does it seem like the boat has sunk any more into the water?
Make another perception.
Just the regular perception, right?
Yeah, regular.
But he has the spyglass.
He's not using it.
Wait, did you say...
Checking over the what?
Oh, I thought he mentioned that he is using it, but it's okay. 21.
The spyglass is meant more for long distances. He wouldn't really be able to examine much this close.
That's some nice wood
Oh.
fibers.
Basically. Checking over the boat, from what you can tell, doesn't seem like it's sunk more, no. However, I would say with the 21, kind of glancing down through the cracks on the deck into where the cabin area, you do see that water is still kind of in that area. It doesn't seem like any of the bucket
Bailing.
scooping that Alexis had done had really done much.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Eric doesn't know anything about boats, so he's just gonna start climbing down and tell Varric, yeah, there's some trees and there's like kind of a mountain on it.
Oh, okay, so that means we'll have resources to repair the ship with. Good.
Are any of us carpenters?
I can be for a little while.
Can't carve anything, but I can chop things down.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to patch a hole, not make it look nice. We need something that's serviceable.
Yeah. I couldn't find anything downstairs that could patch the hole. It's too.
It's too big. Don't we have a bunch of crates and stuff downstairs?
All the crates are gone except for 2 barrels. We could take bits of the floorboards, but we need as much foundation as we.
There's a hole big enough in the boat that all the crates fell and barrels fell out except for 2.
Yeah. I tried to look around and put things together. Luckily, it's not close enough to the waterline that water's staying in, but it does go in and out, so it's probably in our best interest to get to that island as soon as possible.
How bad is the storm around us?
It's still raging. The ship is rocking and waving with each heavy wave that passes by it. The winds are still rushing along with the heavy rain and booming thunder.
I would like to let all of you know that due to my weather report, this is very accurate for this current area. Stalia Lake fucking sucks, dude.
Maybe
Let's
we
never travel
should
on it again.
get off the boat.
Well, why not just get it to the island, and that way we can take care of it.
If anything, we do have 2 lifeboats on one side ready, but it looks like this thing would be sturdier, but we can have those, I don't know, lowered. So if we need to escape, that's how we'll go. But with all of these waves, I'm not sure how well the smaller boats will handle.
Yeah, let's try to make for the island post haste.
Sure.
And Klaus.
Hmm?
We can do it later, but could I ask you something
That is what?
something's on my mind. I wanted your opinion. I'll ask you.
We can talk. Yeah.
Right. Sails. Take out water. Keep everyone alive.
Alright, so Eric, I don't know where you want to be. If you want to either help with the sails, go back to the crow's nest and keep an eye out for things, or go down and keep trying to bail water.
Well, there were more crew members than us, so I think we should all be on the
Right.
ropes or whatever.
Alright. I'll go get her. I'll be right back. I'm gonna walk down.
Where's Navi? Is she alright?
She's fine.
Alexis is watching her.
Okay. Is she holding up?
As
Like
well
you
as a
said.
child can be.
Yeah.
Eric's gonna walk to some of the ropes and try to figure out what they do.
Tenzing
Well,
will go do the
Tenzing will what?
Tenzing will go do the same. Look at the knots, see if he can, imitate any of those, if sails need to be brought down or up. Or...
Same.
Eric's going downstairs to go check on those two.
Eric, we need to go. There's a giant hole.
I'll let you know. I'm holding in. Hold on 1 second. I'll be right.
Go, Panther, go.
So, Varric's going to get Alexis, you said?
Yeah, he's gonna go downstairs, checking up on them, seeing how they're doing, and then
Agree.
Alright, heading down the stairs, making your way over to the room that Navi had been in. When you peek in, you do see the two there. Navi's still underneath the bed, wrapped up in blankets. Alexis is sitting on the floor with her back to the wall. You do notice she seems to be kind of clutching her chest with a very pained look on her face, but at hearing the sloshing water of your feet approaching, she lets go and raises her head to look over at you. Oh,
is everything all?
Beck, you startled me.
Is everything all right?
Yes, Navi's still, well, as you see, and she gestures to her under the bed.
What about you? You seem in pain. Are you okay?
Well, I mean, I think a lot of us are in pain after that battle.
You were clutching your chest. Is there something?
There's a look of kind of hesitation, but she kind of thinks back on the conversation she had just had earlier and gives you a uncomfortable quirk of her lip. Well, like I mentioned before, using my abilities hurts a bit. And as of recently, it sort of lingers.
That's okay.
I know you asked me not to use it too much, but
No, if you didn't, I'm assuming Tenzing would have been dead. Good work.
looks down at the floor and gives a small nod at that.
You know, you and I have come a long way from our beginnings.
Looks back up at you curiously at that.
Yeah, I think it's clear that we've both gotten stronger, and I think we've both grown as people.
Yes, I suppose. Were you coming down just to check on Navi?
I was coming down to check on you, Navi, and we are trying to learn how to rig the masses, but I need to ask you something. Is everything okay? You seemed a bit despondent. What's on your mind?
I mean, someone died. I think anyone would be a little torn up about that.
Yeah, that's fair. Anything else?
No, I'm, for the most part, sort of got it sorted. I'm mostly just... she looks very reluctant to continue with what she's going to say, but eventually she speaks again. my body's not cooperating entirely, so it's probably best that I stay down here with Navi rather than get in the way up there.
Varric smiles and says, I think you... I'm impressed. And he'll walk over to her. You really have grown. And he'll go over and he'll kind of lightly grab the back of her head and give her a kiss on the forehead.
She actually kind of rests a hand on your shoulder to stop you momentarily. Is something that I talked about with Tenzing that I still need to find the opportunity to talk with you about. Now's not the time though. Perhaps once we're in safer area. And as she kind of trails off, the both of you do hear footsteps making their way down the stairs. Eric peeking around the door.
Hey,
Sorry,
Varric.
we're just doing a quick checkup. I'll be right up. She's gonna stay down here for now.
Eric just waits at the door.
Oh, and then Varric will go over to his painting and go over to his painting and his painter supplies, which was not touched apparently, and give it to her and just say, when she's ready to come out, she might want something to do, and this may be a good outlet. You should try it as well, if you're able. As he hands her the painter's kit, and I painted that.
Wait, you hand her the painting or painter supplies? Michael?
Hang out for me. Hold on. I'm sorry, I cut out for like 5 seconds.
Oh, I said, are you handing her the painting or painter supplies?
Both.
Okay. I don't think this is really the best place to use this. It could get more water damaged. And the ship is rocking rather quickly.
That's fair. But there are some lighter things in there. And Varric will put away the painting and just say, and hand her the painter's kit. There's some sketchbooks, pencils, stuff like that. A little shaky, yes, but again, and he looks down at the bed. Anyone could use a distraction. And it's a good way to get things off your mind.
All right. I suppose if she crawls out, I'll offer it.
Thank you. And, like I said, you've grown. I'm proud of you. And then he'll continue walking.
A furrow comes to her brow, but she gives a small nod.
We'll talk later. Besides, I gotta make sure that my little sister stays safe and sound.
The furrow
gives
grows. Go ahead.
He gives a playful smile, as in he's teasing her for, like, playfully.
Yeah, she doesn't seem bothered by the little comment. It more just, again, it seems to resurface her saying how she needs to talk to him about something that she had talked to Tenzing about. But she doesn't say anything, just gives a small nod.
I'm kidding. Quite kidding. I'm just trying to tease you a little bit to lighten the mood.
She glances over towards Eric, impatiently leaning against the door.
Right. Sorry. Give me a minute and I'll talk your ear off. But we'll talk later. Love you, Six. And see you up on deck when you are up to it.
Gives a nod. Mm, Waits until kind of Eric walks out and by, and she looks towards you, Eric, and says, I know you definitely got to quickly hop back up to the deck to help out. I'm going to let you do that. I do just want to make a quick comment if that's alright.
What?
No matter how angry you get, please don't raise your hand at anyone. Please.
Eric just frowns at that, and he kind of just. I think he would just walk up the stairs.
Alright. And so you guys all make your way onto the deck to
Can I say
prepare.
something?
Oh, go ahead.
Sensing was looking around for Eric and saw that he went downstairs, so he'd wait till he come back.
Alright, Eric, as you head up, you spot Tenzing standing by the entryway.
Eric,
Yes.
we'll talk later about what's happened and what recently happened, but he opens his mouth and closes it again, and the argument. I mean, I couldn't say anything at the time, but let's not fight, okay?
I don't really think we have the time to fight. And then Eric
And
tries to walk past him.
he'll stand in front of him and say, like,
Oh,
again,
this is a contested thing since you guys are trying to do two different things.
okay, what should I roll?
Tenzing, I'd say.
I feel like whatever he rolls, it should be at advantage. Tenzing's takes up a lot of space.
Yeah. So I'd say you're trying to quickly get in the way of someone. So I'd say that's I'd say it acrobatics with advantage. Eric, you do acrobatics.
Yeah.
All right, he stands in your way.
He stands in the way and just wait. I'm sorry. No. I'm not here to scold you because that's not. He bites his lip
Tenzing.
again and he looks out to the sea and looks back at him. He waits for him.
Whatever you're gonna say, remember it. We don't have time for this right now.
No, it's quick. I just want to say thank you for helping me and trying to get married. You were down there with us, so you saw everything that happened. So, thank you. And take a step out of his way.
Yeah, Eric would take a step and he would instead of continuing, he would stop and he would just say, I'm not the one who got you back up. got you out.
I know.
It was Neri.
I know.
And then
Even so,
Eric.
you were still there. So, thank you for trying.
Trying doesn't help. And then Eric walks away.
All right. And so each of you go make your attempts to kind of semi keep the boat on track as you make your way in the direction of the island. Many hearts heavy after the death of your companion. And I will say this is where the mini session ends.
Stop